In a village nestled between lush green fields and dusty footpaths lived an old woman named Surmaya. She was nearly 80, with silver hair neatly tied in a bun and a smile that seemed untouched by time or sorrow. Her mud brick home stood humbly beneath a large neem tree. Inside there were only the basics: 2 clay pots of water, a single chula for cooking, and a wooden cot in the corner that creaked with every breeze. She lived alone. Her husband had died 3 decades ago, and her only son had gone to the city in search of work and never came back. The villagers often whispered, "Poor Surmaya, alone, forgotten." And yet she smiles like she carries no weight at all. That summer, Tanya, a 20-year-old girl from Mumbai, arrived in the village to visit her grandfather. Tanya was broken from within. She'd failed her medical entrance exam. Her best friend had betrayed her trust, and her parents constantly compared her to others. Every evening she sat alone, defeated and numb, silently questioning, "Why is life so cruel to me?" One morning, as Tanya walked past the neem tree, she saw Surmaya feeding leftover rice to the birds and humming an old tune gently. Her eyes sparkled with peace, and she smiled at every passerby, even the ones who ignored her. Intrigued, Tanya watched this ritual for days. Finally, one quiet evening, unable to contain her curiosity, Tanya approached her. "Grandmother, can I sit with you for a while?" she asked hesitantly. Surmaya's face lit up. "Of course, dear. Come. The neem tree gives the best shade at this hour." They sat in silence for a moment. Tanya finally spoke. "Grandmother, you have no one. You've been through so much, and yet you smile like your heart has never broken. How?" Surmaya chuckled softly. "Ah, child, I was not born with this smile. It came after many storms. Would you like to hear my story?" Tanya nodded, eyes wide. "When I was your age, I married a gentle man. We had nothing but love. Our son was our joy. But fate has its way. One winter, my husband fell ill. There was no hospital nearby, and I had no money for help. He died in my arms, whispering, 'Stay strong, Surmaya.' I wanted to die with him, but I lived for my son. I cleaned homes, washed clothes, even begged at times, just to feed him and send him to school. Years passed. He got a job in the city and left. I waited for his letters, his calls, but they stopped. He married, and perhaps forgot I exist." Tanya gasped. "You never went to find him?" "I did once," Surmaya said, her eyes distant. "He had a new life, a family. I stood across the street from his flat and walked away. Sometimes love means letting go with grace." Tears welled up in Tanya's eyes. "But don't you feel angry, lonely, betrayed?" Surmaya smiled again, that same peaceful smile. "I did, until I discovered 3 truths that saved me. Let me share them with you." She held up her fingers gently. 1. Accept what you cannot change. I cannot force Kabir to remember me, but I can choose not to let bitterness eat me alive. I chose peace over pain. 2. Be thankful for what you have. I may not have riches, but I have these birds, this tree, the sky above, and a heart that still feels. Gratitude is not for the wealthy, it's for the awake. 3. Give more than you take. I feed birds, help children with homework, and give herbs to the sick. Giving makes me feel alive, like I still matter. Tanya sat quietly, as if 1,000 knots in her chest were slowly untangling. The sun dipped behind the trees. Birds chirped their way back home, and for the first time in weeks, Tanya smiled. "Grandmother, thank you," she whispered, holding Surmaya's hand. "You've healed something in me tonight." That night, the two sat under the stars, sharing stories, laughter, and even tears. When Tanya returned to Mumbai, Her challenges still remained, but something had shifted. She began each day with a small prayer of gratitude, stopped chasing the people who left her, and started helping those who silently suffered, just like she once did. True happiness is not the absence of pain, but the presence of purpose. Life will never be free of sorrow, loss, or disappointment, but we always have a choice in how we respond. Surmaya's story teaches us that peace is not handed to us by perfect conditions. It is built slowly, through acceptance of what cannot be changed, gratitude for what remains, and kindness shared with others even when we are hurting. We often wait for life to get better before we allow ourselves to smile, but the truth is, sometimes life gets better because we choose to smile. In the quiet moments, in simple acts of giving, and in the strength to let go without hatred, we find a kind of joy that no situation can steal. Choose that joy, not because life is easy, but because your heart deserves peace.